practical thing, but it's also a connection thing. Our babies are very, very mature compared to other mammal babies when they're born. It takes us 12 months to get up and walk. Other mammals do so within hours of the birth. We can't get to our food unless someone takes us to our food or brings the food to us. We can't toilet ourselves for several years. So we are very, very dependent, and it makes sense for us to have a very strong bond with our mother because she has to invest a lot of work in us as a child. And if we didn't have that strong bond, it would be very easy for her to just set us aside and do something more interesting. So we talk about these things enhancing bonding. The majority of mothers bond with their babies. We're not saying you can only bond if you do these things. But touch and proximity enhance bonding. Often we have births that are not what we anticipated, and a lot of new mothers are struggling with a society that doesn't value mothering and are often very isolated in the way that our societies have split off and spread out. You don't necessarily have your family nearby. There's not another pair of arms to hold the baby while you do the dishes or vacuum the floor or do the groceries. So from a practical perspective, baby wearing works. From a bonding perspective, baby wearing works. And from a nurturing perspective, it works. For me, it's just something really nice to do. I love wearing my grandchildren. Yesterday I watched my two granddaughters putting on their baby carriers to wear their dolls. It's natural for them to do it because that's what they see, and it's something that needs to be encouraged in a busy world where we don't necessarily have time to sit down and just enjoy being with our babies.
In terms of brain development and just general development of babies and children, are there any benefits of baby wearing?
It's not an area that there's a lot of research done, but there certainly seems to be observational and anecdotal evidence to support baby wearing as an alternative for tummy time. A lot of babies don't seem to like being on their tummy, but being in that upright position, they need to lift their head and use their neck and shoulder muscles to remain upright. So that helps to develop those muscles. We also know in newborns and particularly in premature babies that the position against the parent's chest will help to regulate body temperature and also breathing. And we see that used in what's known as kangaroo care, which is an alternative to some of the intensive care procedures used for premature babies. And the positioning is exactly the same as what we aim for with baby wearing. So there's definitely physical benefits and quite likely emotional benefits too. There's also, I guess, social benefits. Babies are at an adult level. They're not separated from what's going on. They're part of it. Mothers tend to talk to their babies more in the baby wearing position. They can see what's going on. Other people talk to them. So people stop and chat to your baby in ways that they don't tend to do if they're enclosed in a pram. Yep. So socially it's good for babies as well. People often will say that the child won't become independent if you carry them all the time. We don't want to be carried around by our parents our whole life. There's a natural drive to get out of our parents' bed, to wean from the breast, to get out of the carrier and explore the world. We can't suppress those natural instincts. You can't keep your baby a baby forever. Your baby will grow and become independent, whether you like it or not.
Yep. I was just thinking, just to wrap up, can you just share with us a little bit about what inspired you to create Southern Natural Parenting Network, and what kind of things you see in there and how this benefits parents.
This is probably the most accidental thing I've done in my whole life. Entirely unplanned, spontaneous one night, I decided to create a Facebook group to connect a few people that I'd met who felt that they didn't fit in with their mother's group. They were practicing a style of parenting that seemed very natural to me and seemed very natural to them, but not necessarily supported by people around them. So that was February 2014, and I started out with about 100 people who I knew. We're about to hit 7,000 members, and I still don't know what my plans for the group are. We have 5 core practices. To come into the group, you have to support these practices. That doesn't mean you have to do them. Circumstances may mean that you haven't been able to, or you have reasons for not doing it, but you need to understand these practices are the foundation of the community. And they are breastfeeding, baby wearing, co-sleeping, baby-led weaning, which is the introduction of solids, not ceasing of breastfeeding, and modern cloth nappies. And the reason that I chose those 5 topics is because they seem to be the ones that ended up in heated debate in other groups. No mother was able to just ask a practical question about having her baby in bed with her without people slamming her for doing so. She couldn't ask about management of cloth nappies without people feeling judged because they used disposables. So it was a very aggressive world for people just looking for practical support and information around things they'd personally decided to do. And that's what the majority of discussion in our group is around, but we've expanded because these things are a part of a natural, gentle parenting philosophy. They're not standalone choices. And so anything to do with parenting throughout childhood and beyond, from a natural, gentle perspective, with a few topics that we don't discuss because they become far too heated. That includes vaccination and Father Christmas. People often feel the need to debate these topics, so we've banned those topics so they're not debated, so that it remains to be a safe space for people who agree on 5 core issues but may disagree on other issues.
Yep. Well, for something that's an accident, it seems like a very, very big project for you to undertake. But I imagine it would take a lot of effort and energy to maintain. And just personally, I've benefited a lot from this group. So just want you to know that you're helping a lot of people out there. 7,000 to be exact. So thank you for coming here today and just sharing a little bit with us about co-sleeping and a little bit about breastfeeding and baby wearing as well. I'm interested to maybe talk about in the future baby-led weaning and modern cloth nappies as well, if possible, because I think, like you said, these are topics that sometimes are quite controversial, and definitely there's a need for more information and more awareness around them. Thank you for talking with us today. I hope you guys enjoyed listening, and keep on tuning in for more episodes in the future.